Stateside. How are you?
I'm quite tired. It's conference week. That's why I have the t-shirt on today.
Okay.
Doing what I can here in the midst of personal craziness. But yeah, we have a lot to cover today. You're back, so why don't you kick off with your intro?
All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us. It is Tuesday. We do this every Tuesday, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. It is Today in Travel. We bring you all the latest things. We have some cool topics today, some award ceremonies to talk about. We're going to talk about some river cruising reviews. We're going to talk about celebrity has a new ship and a name. So, guys, I am Jason Poole. I am a travel advisor with Cruise Planners. Love talking about all things travel with Miss Haley. Haley, how are you? Introduce yourself. Let people know why we should listen to a word you say.
Well, I always joke and say you shouldn't, but my name is Haley. I own the hotel sales support company, Hospitality with a Flair, with a phenomenal team there. And I hate sleeping, so I travel blog and love going all over God's green earth here. So we have some great things. I'm really excited for all the
Thank you.
things that we're talking about today. And I think we should kick it off with you reviewing river cruising.
Yeah, it was great. So I just got off a seven night river cruise with Alma Waterways. We started in Basel, Switzerland. We ended in Nuremberg, Germany. It was great. It was a different type of experience for me because I've not done a river cruise before. That was my very first one. Some of the pros, which were the service was just outstanding. I've stayed in a lot of suites. I've been on a lot of different lines. Been to some really nice hotels. I was truly impressed by the level of service with Alma Waterways.
So, which way would you just say, like in speed of service or just attention to
Speed of
detail?
service, they remembered your name. I mean, there were only like 140, 150 people on the ship. Alma tries to keep the average capacity around 150 people per ship. So they remember my name. They would see me have the drink ready. I mean, you just weren't told no, like ever. It was, hey, I tried to sign up for this excursion before the cruise. It said it was sold out. Don't worry about it. We'll make room. We'll figure it out. I mean, it was just anything you wanted. Like one night, I ordered a drink. I was like, hey, do you have blah 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 blah? And they were like, no, but I think somewhere else has it. Like, oh, don't worry about it. It's fine. And they ran and got it and came back. I mean, it was just the service outstanding. Anything you wanted. I mean, I we went to like a chef's table with like a tasting menu, and I told them about some dietary issues, and they kind of were like, "Oh, well, that's much of the menu." Well, they completely changed it, took care of it. It was just the service was just outstanding. Getting on the ship was great. Getting off the ship, like they told us to wait in the lounge and they were calling taxis and they would just call you when your taxi arrived. Like, how many pieces of luggage do you have? How many people? We're going to order a taxi for your size, how much you need. Um, it was a bit more go, go, go and a little more structured than I was expecting. So, like, lunch was served at a certain time, and dinner was served at a certain time. Now, could you go a little later? Sure. But if you're used to ocean cruising, dinner's from 5 to 8:30, you show up whenever you want. Like that's not
Yeah, I
really
never would have really thought about that piece of
right.
it.
Right. So it's like, oh, it's 7. I'm not that hungry. Well, you better eat. Like you better go down to the restroom and go eat. So that definitely was different, getting used to a bit more structured. Like there was one port I wanted to get off and explore my own, but they were like, the tour is taking us to where the ship is sailing in the afternoon. So you need to stay like with the tour.
Yeah,
So
I think that's something that some people might not realize. So sometimes, based on your port, when you're river cruising, you get off in one area and the boat moves, and then
and you
you
get back on at the second. Like one of the excursions, I didn't do this. I did the bike ride through Strasbourg, which was great. But there was one excursion where you biked from port to port, and I didn't do that one. But it was the variety and excursions were great. There were just lots of options they were giving us to with included excursions. So I enjoyed the small ship feel. It reminded me a little bit of going to the Galapagos on Celebrity Flora. Small ship, it's the lounge and the restaurant, like not a ton. You got to know everybody on board. So I would totally do river cruising again. I really want to do like the Bordeaux wine tasting region.
Yes.
I mean, that would be great. You know, at least with Ama, they're doing some Asian cruising now. They're doing some Nile. So I mean, it was cool to get into Europe. But I've been to Europe a bunch, but it's always been like on the ocean,
the Mediterranean.
on the Mediterranean. So it was great to get in, and we spent a couple of days in Munich afterwards. So that was kind of cool. It's like just the trains, everything's so close.
Yeah.
And Munich is a great pre or post river cruise city. It's just a great way to see it before, after. Yeah, Pam Christmas. So we saw some of the earliest Christmas market stuff. Lots of Christmas stores. I bought way too many Christmas ornaments and Christmas decorations. So it was kind of cool to see some of the earliest.
There is something about just that Christmas market vibe in Europe. I mean, I just saw that like London's going to have all their lights up by the time I go next week. And Paris, the market that's typically on the Champs-Élysées, that market's going to be up when I'm there. And I'm like,
jealous. I'm so jealous.
I love it. It's so good.
I'm so jealous. So so toward the end of the week, Haley, you and I are the same way about this. I get a little toured out. I cannot do tour. But they were really flexible. So I would just start using the tour for the transfer to City Center, and then tell the tour guide, hey, when and where are we meeting for the ride back to the ship? And so I would go off and explore my own thing, kept watching what time it was, met them, got on the bus, went back to the ship. So I kind of started to do a little bit more self-explore, use the included tours as just transfers into City Center.
It sounds like Jason needs to make a reel about the 5 things he wished he knew about river cruising.
Oh, yeah.
With all these little tips, because I know I just want to keep.
I know. I mean, there were lots of things that I learned, just as far as even like laundry service. We're used to on ocean cruising, laundry taking a day, if you're lucky, sometimes 2 days. I sent in laundry stuff in the morning. I got it back like that night. Wasn't express. It's such a small ship. They just like got it right back.
This might have to be a question of the day down the road, but that laundry service is becoming something that I am frequently engaging in more on my travels. But no, that's incredible.
Yeah. So it was great. Lots of photos, lots of stuff. I'm still going to be posting about it, but it was we could talk about it for a while, but we have some other things to discuss. So that's kind of the brief recap for now. So Celebrity made an announcement today, Haley.
They did. I'm not gonna lie, I hate this name. I thought Star of the Seas was terrible. I hate this name. Like, I'm ready to do a spreadsheet whenever I hear it. Like, I hate it.
So Celebrity has announced the name of their 5th and final Edge series ship. So we have Celebrity Edge, Apex, Beyond. Ascent is coming out in a couple weeks. I'm on it. And then they announced the name of Edge series number 5 today. It is the Celebrity Xcel. They say it's going to have a larger rooftop garden, a larger resort deck. So I think it's going to be the biggest of the 5 Edge series ships. It will be sailing out of Fort Lauderdale starting in November 2025 and just doing some Caribbean itineraries at first. So I do hate the name. I'm not going to lie. Hate the name. Ooh. But we always kind of get used to names. Like, I didn't like Celebrity Beyond at first. And I kind of got used to it. So Xcel, it does sound like it's sponsored by Microsoft. So I have a hot take. I think they should have been reversed. I think Celebrity Star sounds better. and like Xcel of the seas. Like I think they almost should have been like
Flip
swapped.
flop.
Yeah. So, but whatever. Hey, it's just a name. We'll get used to it. There's lots of names we didn't love, and now we're just totally.
Josh likes it better than Star of the Seas.
I think I like Star better.
I almost can get. I know. I'm just kind of like.
Yeah. Yeah. So, anyways, all right, moving on. So, you guys know the Points Guide, one of the biggest online blog. Calling it a blog at this point almost seems to diminish the Points Guide, but I'm trying to it's like a blog. Yeah. Now he's like grown into this like empire of travel news, hacks, awareness. It's
a lot
just
of credit card.
Right. Yeah. Right. So they do a once a year awards. And so their awards came out yesterday. And so I thought it'd be kind of fun for us to kind of dive in and kind of, I mean, there's a lot of them. We can't talk about all of them, but kind of just dive in and talk about some of the awards. And Haley had a neat idea. Let's see who won some of these categories last year and why there might have been some shifts this year. Let's just jump in. Best U.S. airline loyalty program. Last year, Delta won the award for the Sky Miles program. This year, the award goes to American Airlines AA Advantage program.
Well, if it isn't a consequence of my own actions. Oh my God. So I think the people have spoken because, as Ken Jarvis will mention, TPG is typically very Delta leaning.
Oh, they are. No, I mean, absolutely. I mean, Delta sponsors the Points Guy. I mean, I think that could influence their coverage. But I mean, the fact that they didn't just give this to Delta, I think just shows.
And these are voted on by the people too that read it. Like typically, you know, like very avid Delta people and travelers, the Points Guy is huge. It's a lot of that volume. And I think years prior, we frequently have seen Delta in these awards. And
I mean, look, you and I just kind of took for granted Delta winning like everything all the time. We kind of just took it for granted. So interesting. We could dwell on that for a while. The other just quick in the airlines, it's all the Emirates and Qatar, like best first class, best business class. That's all the usual suspects. Emirates, great. Best economy, US, JetBlue.
So I found that a little surprising given the servicing issues that have been plaguing JetBlue over the last year or two. But I mean, there's a lot of people that I know that just, you know, travel domestically. And
so I haven't flown JetBlue in a while, but when I used to fly JetBlue, I actually did not mind the like in-flight experience, right? They would have Sirius XM, DirecTV, option.
Well, they were one of the first US-based kind of economy carriers that started really putting like all the TVs in the seats. Like I remember that as a child.
Right.
That being a big, huge to do. You know, and JetBlue also has some very inexpensive flights and points conversions too.
They do.
So I'm sure that kind of aids in this here. Was that category available last year?
So that is a great question. Airline, no, they did not do that one last year.
So sometimes the categories do change, you guys. So we don't have that comparison for all the way, but I definitely agree with the AA loyalty suggestion after that point. Because even though the thresholds are high, there's such a variety, and I'm attempting to double dip here a little. The ways you can earn are very plentiful with A Advantage. So
right. Okay. So moving on to some credit cards briefly. The best travel rewards credit card remained the same year to year. The Chase Sapphire Preferred card. People who you have the Chase Sapphire. People who have it, they love it. They love it.
It's honestly, it is the best entry level travel credit card because so many people think like, oh, I fly Southwest a lot, I should get a Southwest card, and not to knock the card because it's won an award on this list as well. But if you're looking to try different types of travel going to Europe, having that more generic travel card like your Chases, your Amex, where you can move points to so many different types. You can move it to hotel, you can move it to air. I'm always such a big advocate of that. And that card is only a $99 annual fee. It's super low, and you get the TSA pre-check global entry credit. So, I mean, right there's your first year. I'm a big fan because, it kind of makes up for what I don't get with Amex and transfer partners. Like they have Southwest, United, Hyatt, I think IHG as well. It's a great entry level card. Like I said, I haven't used it, so
it's great. Well, let's jump into hotel world briefly.
Yes.
So last year, the winner of the best hotel loyalty program was Marriott's Bonvoy program, which that is a fan favorite. People love it. I was a little surprised this year's best hotel loyalty program went to World of Hyatt.
I think the vast majority of that is the rewards system.
Okay.
So Bonvoy in the last couple of years has dipped into dynamic pricing, which is what IHG does. Hilton does that. And the value of the points now has just become insane. Like, to just use your points for a one night stay, say like pre-cruise in Miami. Based on seasonality and the dynamicness of it, that could be 110,000 Bonvoy points. And that is a terrible spend on points. Like it's really devalued in a lot of ways. And they just had an article, we'll probably talk about it next week because I think it happened while you were gone, that they're changing their award certificates that they have for their platinum and above, which is what I had this year, and thankfully was able to use them because a lot of people were calling them like non-usable. I forget the corny little nickname they gave them, but being able to use some of these benefits are extremely difficult.
Okay.
To the point where they are making a change in some of that, but Hyatt is so great because they have that actual calendar. Like if it's peak season and you're staying at a Park Hyatt, it's going to be 40,000 points. If it's low season, it's going to be 25 or 30,000. And then we showed you that great tip a couple weeks ago with Built Rewards, how you can actually check Hyatt availability versus having to click into it all the time.
Right.
So I'm a big fan of there still being a calendar, and I miss Bonvoy having that calendar.
Yeah, that's fair. So last year's best affordable hotel brand, Holiday Inn Express. This year, most affordable hotel brand was Moxy, which is in the Marriott Bonvoy family.
And I love this. So one of my absolute favorite U.S. hotels, now we're not talking luxe, like we're just saying like if I'm thinking of location, decor, honestly service, is the Moxy Miami Beach. I love that property. Okay. I don't love the per se Moxy rooms for myself for a long stay because they're built to be more shareable, kind of like dorm-esque. So like
I sit in a Moxy. Yeah.
Not huge, but like, oh my God, it is so cute because they're all themed so well locally. Like they have the free bike rental so you can go bike around. It's like 2 blocks from the beach. The restaurant's fantastic there. They give you little tokens at check-in for a free beer or rosé. And it's themed like Miami Beach. Like when you go in the elevators, it looks like you're underwater in a pool. Like the ceiling in the elevator is like this plastic ripple thing, and it's got the dive, 5 feet. So I'm a real Moxy stan here. I think they're super cute. So I love it.
Nice. Well, let's close out with some cruise awards. Yeah. These awards are very different from last year, so we won't compare last year, but the categories kind of changed. Best new cruise ship, Oceania's Vista. Ship looks beautiful.
I've seen some videos. It's a pretty
It
ship.
looks beautiful. Best luxury cruise line, Silver Sea Cruises won that
I
award.
feel like that's normally Regent, isn't it?
Usually it's Regent. Some people like Silvers, like every room gets a butler. Regent, it's kind of more the higher end rooms get butlers. That's kind of most cruise lines are that way with the luxury. So Silver kind of sets apart. I mean, it looks Silver's a great brand. I mean, Regent is typically wins the award, so good for them. Best family cruise line, Disney Cruises.
I can say I've been on one now, and I would tend to lean that way. So
Okay. And then closing it out, best cruise line for adults, Virgin Voyages.
there is that appeal to being on a ship with no kids, and some people are like, "Oh, that's so mean. That's this." I have a kid, and I enjoy my kidless trips. I enjoy my trips with my kid, but I also enjoy not being around children too.
Right. No, I agree. So I thought the full list is on the Points Guy website, lots of awards. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to kind of go over it. So you have a cool tip of the day talking about hotels again.
So, one thing to keep in mind with brands like Hilton and Marriott with those loyalty programs, if you're going to do a points reservation, when you stay at least 5 nights, the fifth night is free. So, there's one piece. And because we know some of those points allotments can be so crazy expensive, sometimes it's cheaper to buy points than to like stay. So, I bought points when I came down to Nashville for Taylor Swift
Mhm.
because the hotel rates were almost $2,000 a night at the JW and surrounding
I remember.
hotels.
Yep.
So I went and bought points. Marriott had a promo. I spent $800 on points, got everything I needed for 3 nights. So I spent $800 for 3 nights versus, $2,000 a night. Hilton is running a promotion through the 23rd where it's 100% points buy. So if you buy 50,000 points, you're getting 100,000 points.
Okay.
That's a really great way. I did an Instagram reel on this like a year or so ago for New Year's travel to like Puerto Rico, staying at one of the nice Hilton properties there on the beach where you could buy your points in an offer like this.
Okay.
And do that. So if you are interested in planning a trip and don't want to spend an arm and a leg, especially over high demand dates, this could be a great way to save some money.
That is great. Well, guys, I think that's a wrap. Sorry for the short show. We both have hard cutoffs here just in a few minutes. So thanks for tagging along. If you watched my Instagram story, still have some more stuff coming out for it. So
I can't wait.
and then Haley, you're traveling across the pond again very soon, right?
9 days. 9
9
days. I am heading. We're doing 5 nights in London and then 3/4 in Paris with a day trip to Normandy. So
Love it. Love it. All right, guys. Well, have a good one, and we'll see you guys next week.
all right, bye guys.
Bye.